Good evening, Madam Chair and fellow speakers. I'd like to share with you my journey about my passion for nursing people back to health. It began quite some time ago in Belgium, where I was born. I'd like you to picture me as a fairly naive 11-year-old sat on the floor of my bedroom practicing the recorder for an exam the next day. The date was the 26th of January. I hated living in Belgium because it never felt like home. I hated school, but I still did my homework. And when I heard my mother's footsteps coming up the stairs, I had a surge of excitement that for a change I was going to be able to show her what I'd been able to do. So she came in, she sat down, she listened, and then at the end she told me she had something to tell me. And what she told me was that my grandfather had died. At that moment it felt like my world had crumbled. I didn't understand why. I hadn't been told that he was ill and that he had cancer. I really didn't know what was going to happen. And that night, I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I woke up with the vision of my grandfather at the foot of my bed, with the overwhelming feeling that if I could train as a nurse, I could help people I could help people get better, and that would make my pain worth it. So I set off as a healthy 18-year-old, started my nursing training on a mission to heal the world, which proved to be just as much about healing me. Now, in year one, we learnt the definition of health by the World Health Organization, and that is that health is not the absence of disease or infirmity. It is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. This is what I wanted to help people reach. As time went on, I began to struggle with lots of things, including the fact that I was giving medication that was giving side effects, that was getting people back into hospital. And we were learning the most advanced way of lifting people, which we couldn't practice on the wards because nurses just wanted to do it the way they'd always done it. It had always worked for them. So why change it? This mostly unconscious struggle, which I realised many years later, is what led me 3 years on to end up with bowed legs, arched feet, verging on high blood pressure, and worst of all, sciatic pain. Now, nursing wasn't about health. It wasn't doing it for me, and it wasn't doing it for the patients I was sticking needles into. My future was beginning to look bleak. My world narrowed, and I felt the system had let me down. And with my pain now physical as well as emotional, my mother managed to find an appointment with an osteopath. At the end of that session, I was able to walk pain-free again, and that meant I was going to be able to finish my training, which I did a few months later and qualified. But the key thing was that I had discovered that there was a way of treating people as complete human beings and not just treating their symptoms. So I needed to find another route for my desire. And I chanced upon a massage course, which was in England. So, in 1993, I qualified and set up my practice in Swindon. And yes, that was 25 years ago. 5 years on, 2 awards later, I had seemingly a successful practice. I was now helping people heal without the side effects of medication. I should have been happy, but I wasn't. I was disheartened. Why? Because my clients had to come back every 6 weeks or so in order to get rid of the pain. That wasn't what I'd intended. It was great for the bank balance, but it was heartbreaking for my soul. I wanted to fix the bit between the time when they left and they were okay and when they came back and they weren't. So 5 years of research and more training, I finally felt that I had developed my own way of seamlessly merging different modalities to create what I call body-mind coaching. I had done my thesis on the psychology behind cancer, and I knew that there was a link between the two. And that was what I wanted to help people understand. I now offer long-lasting pain and stress relief and relaxation beyond belief. I do now feel I nurse people back to health, and it can look after me too. What I do is natural, unique to each client, relaxing, stress busting, and educational.